Okay. Oh, can't hear you.
Good evening. How is everybody doing? That should be working better.
I'm good.
How are we all doing?
We're late. Sorry,
We
everyone.
are
I hate,
late.
but we're late.
We are late, but we have a lot of stuff big, and that's why I was late. And a lot of stuff occurred today,
Yeah, it was last
which
minute.
a lot of last minute stuff that occurred today that really backed up, both here in Ottawa, Toronto, and all over. So we're not going to mess around for too much because, as I
We
said,
should
there
get
is
in
a
there.
lot to go through. Sorry.
Yes. We should get to it.
We should absolutely get to it. There's I thought there was something we wanted to cover before we get into the actual stories, but you know what?
I don't think so. I don't
Probably.
remember.
I think you're right. I don't remember it either. So by the time I remember, it won't care anymore. So we'll get started with the first one, which is actually Pat King. So quick update in regards to Pat King. He went and filed his appeal. Now, uh, from all information that the source is coming out, the information was submitted in regards to the appeal by the lawyers, and now they're waiting for the decision, which I believe is going to be in the coming days. But that
I
didn't
don't
stop.
think he gave a day. It could be within 6 months. He didn't. He didn't say he was. The,
I
the
heard
appeal
the
court.
rumors that he was supposed to be not too far down, but you're right. I mean, it's up to the judges to decide, and it could be up to 6 months. But that didn't stop Pat from commenting on some stuff. So let's see what Pat has to say.
Been a friggin' stressful day today to watch my lawyer fumble the ball today too, and no downfall to Brian. He was intimidated in the whole proceeding, and I understand that. But to watch somebody fumble in front of you when your life is on the line or your freedoms are on the line. I tried to speak up in the court and I tried to say something to the judge that I needed to get across to my lawyer, but I'm isolated in these court proceedings where they muted me immediately. When I tried to speak up for my own freedom, I was not allowed to because I had a representative. And from this point on, and Sophie and I had a talk today, and I said to her, babe, I don't have faith in these lawyers. I am forced now. I'm forced to self-represent every case I'm in now. I do not trust a single lawyer, and not for the aspect that they're all bought and paid for, but I don't trust the competency of these lawyers. I feel that no matter what you do in a court of law over the last 5 years, the Crown has some way or some means to manipulate the law in its favor. When the job of the Crown attorney in the Crown's office is to uphold the law, uphold the charter, and yet you're being violated in charter violations and Bill of Rights violations left and right in Canada. And we're told we're just supposed to sit back and take it. No, we don't. And no, you don't. You don't have to sit back and take this. You have every right to represent yourself. You have every right to every book, textbook. You have every right to any knowledge that will help and assist you with the case. And in fact, the judge has to guide you in the right direction and make available to you all amenities that lawyers have.
So so the judge is supposed to give you a CanLee subscription. I'm not sure what.
No, the judges do actually help self-reps. When you're a self-rep, you get a lot more leeway. I've seen it, but I'm not sure you can represent yourself in appellate court. I'm not 100% sure that I didn't look it up, but I'm not sure that you can represent yourself. Maybe you can. This is
I've only heard, and now I know you cannot represent yourself in appellate court in civil. I don't, and I'm with you on this one. I don't know about criminal.
I don't know about criminal, but to just for everybody, because Pat it is not all wrong here, because I've been in the system, and what you need to know is it's not uh it's not an easy thing to go through. This is the part where he's not wrong. It's frustrating to not be able to speak when you know that something's being missed, or you think that this is an important piece. Like, I felt that way throughout my trial. Okay. It wasn't hunky dory. My lawyer and I weren't, you know, always on the same page. For the most part, we were, and she had my back, and I knew she had my back. But there were times where I wanted certain things to be either said or repeated or whatever. And so that's what happens when you get somebody to represent you. You don't get to speak up whenever you want, because the judge is going to defer to your lawyer. So, unfortunately for Pat, when he wanted to speak up, they won't listen to him. And he picked a lawyer. Okay, so I there was somebody who filled me in when they were listening in to the appeals court. They got to listen in. There was a few people that did, and I'm sad that I missed it, because it would affect me too. Same judge. It's a missed opportunity, I think, for Pat with his lawyer. But apparently, his lawyer started trying to rehash things that have nothing to do with the appeal, and he is not supposed to do that. And the judges told him, I think I was told at the 15-minute mark, he only had 15 minutes left, and he hadn't even touched on the meat of the appeal. And the judge says, "Are you going to get to the appeal? Like, you have 15 minutes left." And I don't think, judging by what I was told, this person doesn't think that Brian Duty, who was his lawyer, understood that he only had 15 minutes left to speak to the appeal. He may have thought he had 15 minutes left to keep rambling. And so he did. And like, he had to rush at the end to start talking about the appeal because he ran out of time. He was warned, what I was told, he was warned a couple of times by the judges. So just anybody who gets caught in this system, not all lawyers do appeals. You need an appellant lawyer. I don't know what Brian Duty's background is, but you don't just go to any lawyer to do an appeal. You hire a lawyer who is experienced with the appeals court, preferably somebody who articled for the appeals court or worked in the appeals court for some reason, who understands the appeals court, the appellant court. And I don't know Brian Duty. I don't know any of his background. I just know that, I mean, yeah, lawyers have to remember, you're not just, fighting a case for yourself. This is about the person who's at the end of the case. But yeah, I don't know.
Apparently on his LinkedIn, he's marked in Brian Duty and bilingual for English French in Ottawa for over 14 years, criminal, constitutional, family, and administrative law. I appear at every level of court, including Court of Appeal.
Okay, but what's his record during the Court of Appeal?
I don't know. Again,
because if he says including a Court of Appeal, is this website or bio you're reading updated recently? And he's saying that Pat King's.
This is his LinkedIn. Yeah, this is his LinkedIn. So
when was it updated? Can you see that? Because maybe he just updated.
There's no update date on it.
No. Anyway, if he had experience in the appeals court, maybe you'd think that he'd know that he can't bring up things that have nothing to do with the appeal and old grievances. I don't know.
It is kind of a weird thing to sort of think about and view, because I mean, you're right. He's got, the appeal court is, everything I've seen and understood by appeal courts. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so take it with a grain of salt. The only thing you're allowed to do in regards to appeal court, I understand what the appeals are. The appeal is just to make a case that something was done during the court process, usually the decisions, where there was an error in the law.
Yes.
That's it. That's your argument. You can't bring new evidence. You're not rehashing the case. You're not doing anything. You're just saying, yeah, this is the case went through, and this was done wrong.
This was the mistake.
Yeah.
And then
So-
they can either overturn it, the decision, based on the error that the judge made, or, you know, you live with it.
So now it doesn't mean the trial starts again. At least I don't understand. I don't know.
For
this
me, the
situation.
trial would start again because I had a jury trial.
Hmm.
So
Well,
if
that's
I win an appeal, okay,
Mhm.
not for the first thing, if I were to appeal the last two decisions, the last two
Right.
convictions, and I won that appeal, then I go back in front of a jury for those two convictions.
Okay.
Start all over
It would
again.
only be for those two.
Yes. Yeah. That's the only two I'm appealing.
That's fair. That's true. You wouldn't be appealing the other ones.
No.
All right. So, yeah. So he's now going to be barely self-representing for everything else. My only question in regards to this, and it kind of sits in the back of my head, is he making the appeal for self-representation because of what the judge, the way he viewed that his lawyer was performing? And again, not to say that
Maybe
the lawyer,
both of his lawyers. Maybe he's not happy with Natasha either. I mean, he's been convicted.
that's fair. But also, what if it's just a financial issue? I mean, we know lawyers are not cheap. You know, lawyers are not cheap.
No, they're not. But I think he's frustrated that he can't speak. I think he articulated what his issue is. I think he's frustrated that he can't speak and he has to leave it to his lawyers to speak for him.
That's fair.
I mean, financial for people is a thing. I mean, the outcome, I would not have been able to do any of this. Like, the legal system is complicated. They don't make it easy for, you know, regular Joes like you and me, regular Deanas and Joes.
There you go.
So, I mean, he could have done all that reading since he didn't have to leave it to his lawyers. Like, that's, if you read the law, then or whatever books, textbooks, like, that's all available to all of us. I ordered some and read them in jail when I was in jail. So, I mean, it's available already. You could have done that, and then you could have, you know, when your lawyer is explaining something to you, you could understand the logic based on what the law is. What you're allowed. I learned a lot, not just from the books, even more so being a part of it. You know, like all these rules about introducing evidence and all this other stuff. Like, you can't just go into, you don't want to represent yourself in criminal court. I'm sorry.
No.
There's no, you want to find a good lawyer.
Yeah. If you want to represent yourself, stick it to small claims court. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Give me 1 second. I mean, you can put something else on or introduce it, but give me 1 sec.
I'll say.
I'm naked.
All right. So this is an interesting part of the.
Sorry, guys. I was naked.
Oh my goodness. I should be giving you crap since you gave me crap.
I noticed it right away, but I couldn't leave. It's like,
grabbed it while we were on the video.
Oh,
I see. I have mine on, so you know the red one this time. So, all right. So we're going to stick around Actually, we didn't really have a location in the last one, but this time we're going back to Ottawa because we're going to talk about the elections coming up in the fall. And we're starting to see some of the candidates. In this case here, it's for Somerset Zone 10. And the candidate in question that's going to be running is...
Remember this asshole?
Shannon Boshi.
Fucking loser.
Yes. He's going to be running again. Now, if you remember correctly, this individual was running back in 2020. Was it? When was our last election? It would have been 2022, I believe. And him and Chanel Fowl, who also marched with Billboard Chris, he wants to run again to be in charge of kids. Now, understanding Ottawa, for those who are not aware, Ottawa's currently the board of trustees is not running, and is not running the school board in Ottawa. That has now been put in the hands of the province because of a financial issue. It's been in the hands since 2025. There is no indication right now or no knowledge whether or not once a new board comes in, if it will go back to them or not. The province hasn't said any indication as to what will cause this to go back into their control yet. Now, Shannon Boshi, just give you an idea, because again, this is still the person going to be running, and it should that come into play. He, aside from the anti-trans, marching with Billboard Chris, and all sorts of additional things, he's also a big proponent of bringing education, as he puts it, bringing education back in the hands and going with evidence-based reading materials. And this particular book he's talking about, that's evidence-based, as he says, is a book called A Day with Sir John A. Illustrated by Lindsay Shepard. Now,
no, by Lindsay Shepard, illustrated by Tatiana.
Oh, sorry, it's by Lindsay Shepard, illustrated by Tatiana Gubich. My apologies. Now, this book is exactly as horrible as you can imagine. It is really propping up the legacy of Sir John A. The man who started residential schools. But to give part of the description written by Lindsay Shepard.
Imagine promoting child rape. Because that's what it is, and child murder. Like, get a fucking life. But anyways, continue.
So here, the second paragraph here is really important. Spark of love, a history, and a renewed appreciation for Canada is with this fun and educational book, which expertly blends fiction and nonfiction. Preschoolers and early elementary school readers will learn not to demonize important public figures at a time when great Canadians are routinely defamed in the legacy media and school system. Young readers will come to understand how important it is to seek the truth and ask questions, even when being discouraged for doing so.
Seek the truth with a blend of fiction and nonfiction, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. These people are so fucking hypocritical and ridiculous. Anyways, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is kind of who he's supporting. And just to really just to understand exactly what kind of what kind of person this author that our Mr. Boshi here is supporting, because again, this is Boshi, and again, whoever you support, whoever you promote is kind of important. If it wasn't quite known, the author is, by the way, Lindsay Shepard. Lindsay Shepard, after authoring this wonderful book, ended up going over to the BC Conservatives, where they got fired for making comments about Orange Shirt Day.
Of course, because she loves Sir John A. Macdonald. That does not shock me in the least.
Yeah, she called the survivor's flag a disgrace online, leading to widespread condemnation.
She's disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shannon Boshi is a piece of shit who is trying to rewrite history and telling us not to judge by today's values. So back then, it was okay to kidnap Indigenous and First Nations children, rape them, impregnate them, kill them, starve them, beat them, and then kill the children that these children have because they have to hide their evidence. But that was the standards before, but he did a lot of good. Sir John A. Macdonald did a lot of good, and so did those schools. Shut the fuck up, Boshi. Stay the fuck away from children. Stay the fuck away from the school system that my daughter goes to. I want nothing to do with you and your ideology, your racist, pedophilic ideology. Okay? Stay the fuck away from schools.
Yeah.
Anyway, Somerset, he has no hope in hell. Fucking loser.
Oh, absolutely. So also a big special thank you there to Vintage, who was able to find that particular last article where connecting Lindsay to the conservative BCs and the connections there. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we dug a little bit deeper, had we had a bit more time, if she was also connected to 1BC. At this point here, I wouldn't be shocked.
Well, she just needs to wither away. She's stealing my air. She's stealing our air, everybody.
She is. Yeah, again. So both she's could be there. I haven't heard any confirmation on Shannon Fowl, or Chanel Fowl. I checked up to today.
I like how it sounds like you're saying foul. That's her last name. It's perfect.
Yeah. So Chanel Fowl, she hasn't confirmed or denied whether or not she will be running again. But again,
she's a loser ex-teacher, isn't she?
I believe so.
I think she's a loser ex-teacher
too.
I think I called her friend a loser ex-nurse, but I think she's.
Oh no, that one you definitely did.
I did.
That one I know you did. I recall that. That one's what I think the term is core memory.
It went something like this: loser ex-nurse, loser ex-nurse, loser ex-nurse, loser ex-nurse, like that.
Yes. Remember? Yes. Okay. For context, for those who are not aware, this was Bethan
Nodal, something stupid like that.
Bethan Nodal. She was a nurse. I believe she got let go because she refused to get the COVID vaccine. Since then, she's had an interesting.
She's been spreading a lot of misinformation about trans affirmative care and all this other stuff.
And coming with the accreditations of having been a nurse, that whether even though she's been discredited, people will still follow her because of that. And she's even gone down the pipelines of white supremacy, as we covered a little while ago. As the video came out, where she was an open supporter of Diagolon. So
yeah, and Tommy Robinson, and what's that idiot face? Christine Anderson.
Christine Anderson, because Trinity Productions, she's one of the three.
That's right.
Yeah, we by the way, we're not on their Christmas list.
They don't really believe in Jesus, I don't think. Not the real one, anyways.
They have a version.
They have a version. Anyway.
Speaking of crazy stuff like that, we're going to go out to Alberta, because Alberta's always got something interesting happening. Today was actually some good news for people in Alberta, and it's Indigenous people.
And turning to breaking news from Alberta, where a judge has just quashed a separatist petition calling for a referendum on Alberta independence. Lawyers for several Alberta First Nations successfully argued that the province's referendum process is unconstitutional and failed to consult with Indigenous groups. They also argued Alberta's separation would violate their treaty rights. Last week, Alberta separatists submitted a petition with more than 300,000 signatures calling for the vote. Lawyers for the province had defended the process with a referendum expected this fall. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith now says she plans to appeal.
Although our government does support Alberta remaining in Canada, we think that today's decision by the court will deny opportunity to well over 300,000 Albertans to have their petition verified by Elections Alberta. We think that this decision is incorrect in law and anti-democratic, and we will be appealing it as a result. Our cabinet and caucus will, of course, be meeting in the next couple of days to discuss the full context and make some decisions after we've had a chance to talk it through. I guess we will have to talk with our Quebec counterparts to see what they think about this kind of ruling. I would say that it is a single judge who's made a decision, and we have now 700,000 Albertans, whether they're on the Remain side or the Leave side, who've said that they want to have this public debate. So our citizen initiative petition was always meant to be very permissive, and we kept on having to modify it to ensure that that permissive quality was in there. We want to hear from Albertans. That's what we think democracy is. And we'll be meeting with our caucus and cabinet to further review the decision and decide next steps. But as I say, since we believe that this one is incorrect in law and anti-democratic, we will be appealing it.
The separatist group says it disagrees fundamentally with the judge's ruling, and it also plans to appeal.
Oh God.
I'm laughing in Quebec. The Quebec has already responded to it, and I think Blanchette did a wonderful thing when he said, when Quebec had the separation, we were discussing about, Quebec's culture, because of this long history, it's a unique culture, French language, the people, and if you're going to do a separation, based on culture, it's hard to imagine that you have a culture that's just based on oil and gas.
Right.
That's all you
Beef. Beef.
got. And beef. Because, you've got the thing that
Methane.
no other province has.
Oil and gas.
Because no other province has got oil, not Newfoundland. No other province has got beef.
Ontario,
Quebec, quite a few of the provinces have beef.
Quebec,
There's nothing unique about Alberta. But, that's still just kind of just one of those fun kind of jabs. The legality is still going to be the same. Quebec's got something to them because they went into it. Alberta was created by Canada through Rupert's Land Act. And until they understand that, they're going to keep having the same problem.
Well, whatever. There's the majority of their province is treaty land. Like
all of it. Actually, all of it. It's all because it's free land through Rupert's Land Act.
Yes. Yeah. So at the end of the day, and there's still question about those 300,000 signatures on top of that because of the data breach. And then the click, 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 claim, 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 right, Tamara? Claim, 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 claim. Okay.
I know
there's some people who are even saying that they didn't put their name on it. There are people who are finding out that their names are on there and they're like, I did not put my name on there.
I also know that at least one signature is from somebody who's not in Alberta, let alone Canada.
Oh, shit. Is that James Bauda?
That's James Bauda.
Fuck you, Bowder. You're already in the States. You don't belong here. You stay there. You fuck right
you
off.
Confirm your signature. Can you show up at this place in Canada at this time? Don't worry about jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. It was an e-signature. Can he do an e-signature? Is that allowed?
Oh, no. So apparently somebody went down to Montana, offered and met him at a gas station so he can sign it.
Hilarious.
I'm sitting there looking at that, like, two things. One, he's just paranoid to go and get arrested. And to be honest, I don't know why you're like completely disrupting your life for this, considering Litch and Barber and King really haven't had that much of a severe sentence.
Like, let's be honest. And you're gonna get, and James Bowder is like a peanut in all of this.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just talked a lot of talk. That was it.
He talked a lot of talk. I mean, he got the MOU, but still, he's not going to get anything done. Like anything with this, like he's not going to get anything significant.
Right.
By the time his case gets in there, everybody's going to be like, James who? Like the country's
no one's going to come and support you. Don't worry, James. No one's going to know you even went through it.
Yeah.
You might don't worry. You didn't sound a whistle or a dog toy. Oh, sorry, Ginny. I just scared Ginny. Oh my God, this is a weapon.
It's traumatizing. It's okay. Just give it to Moji. He's got a thing about squeakers. He will destroy it.
Yeah, you can't destroy this one.
Oh yeah. Well, in that case, don't give it to him. He will. Yet to see a squeaker he has not been able to destroy. But yeah. So yeah, I mean the 300,000 is absolutely in question. Now, people have made some interesting comments as we have here. So one of the first ones we saw was actually from Convoy, and that is Keith Wilson. Breaking my read on Justice Leonard's decision, it does not prohibit an Alberta independence referendum. The ruling is much narrower and merely technical. It says Bill 14's transition provisions did not revive or validate the Sylvester Independent Citizen Initiative petition after the earlier proposal had already been rejected. The decision today points to a cleaner lawful route. The secession referendum needs to be initiated by Alberta's cabinet under the Referendum Act, not the Citizen Initiative Act. It also makes clear that the government must consult First Nations before the vote. in case there is a potential impact on treaty and traditional rights. That means the ball is now in Smith government's court to set the secession question to the October 26th referendum, just like the Supreme Court of Canada envisioned in the 1998 reference case. I see where he's going with that one, and yeah, the Citizens Initiative is trying to get the citizens to say, like, well, you know what, the citizens are asking for this because it's the initiative and they got their signatures and it's there. My hands are free. What he's saying is right, but what he's saying is also what fucking Alberta government has been dodging altogether.
Yeah, but she's appealing. She'll go for the appeal. They'll lose the appeal.
Yeah.
But she knows that this is political suicide. Of all the things she's ever done, this will be the political suicide.
I don't know if it's going to be political suicide,
It will be.
because I think if she's kind of weaseling this, she might be weaseling it in such a way that, because again, she's a weasel. I think she's going to be weaseling it in a way that says, I'm not the one that wants this, it's the people. This is why the initiative. And then if she lets the initiative constantly struggle, constantly fight, and hoping that this gains momentum, that when she finally does call for the election, it's like, well, the people are demanding it.
Yeah, but she's already embroiled in this data leak. She's not. This is like, this won't go away. That data leak, 3 million Canadians, 3 million Albertans have their entire personal stuff like put out there for these scoundrels to access. Yeah, this isn't going away.
She's not. So this independence bid is not going to go well, and I think you're right. Like I mean, I can see her trying to push this thing, and actually at the last minute just decide to do the referendum.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers are clear though. You're not going to get the support for it. You weren't able to get the support just to get the fucking signatures. You think there's a whole bunch of people hiding their support in the background, like in the bushes. It's not there. The momentum is not there. I haven't checked to see what the polls are right now, but
the election's next year.
The election.
Alberta's next provincial general election is next year, which is not that far away. Like, a year is very quick. It's long, but it's quick. This won't go away in a year. This is not one of those things that will die down in a year. I think she's screwed. No, I hope she's screwed.
I think she absolutely is. I mean, if next year is her election, why not just make that election to be that question? Hey, if you want to push that separation issue, stick with the separatist.
Vote for me. That's right.
And you know what? Absolutely go for the Quebec idea. You want the separatists? Go vote for the separatists. You don't want the separatists? Go vote for the Federalists. And that'll be the NDP. Then you're actually going to get yourself learn the lessons that you.
Well, I think she's going to pretend she's not a separatist so she can win the election. Try to win the election next year, but I don't
knows the numbers. She knows this thing is not winning. She also wants the support of those people. Yeah, and she knows that what Keith is right now saying, she can't do. Because if she does that, that puts her in there. And that will also taint the UCP as a separatist party at that point. This is her hands-off way of doing it without being involved.
Well, Canada's sick and tired of her. Not just Alberta. We've got you guys. We're sick of her.
Hopefully Alberta's sick of her.
I think they are. 3 million people with their data breach? I think they are. That's more than half of the voting population. No, that is the voting population.
That's
Excuse
the
me.
Voting population. That's half of Alberta's
population. Sorry. That's what I meant.
The voting population.
That's right. The rest are kids. Or not
way to
eligible
piss off
to
the
vote.
people who can vote you the fuck out of power.
I love it. It's good. It's good. Good job.
Good job. Good job, kids.
Right next.
Next. Give me
Tucker.
a second here. I am not ready. Yes. So we are now going into the two main stories. I will start off with, you know what? I'm not going to start off with that. I was going to go for the Alcuds, but no, I'm going to go with the police update first instead. So we will start off with a police update, and
It's police week, you guys.
it is absolutely police week.
And it falls right in the middle of police corruption year. It's amazing.
It is. So, as everybody knows, as our Prime Minister stated, every Canadian deserves to feel safe in their home, on their streets, and in their community. During National Police Week, let us show our thanks and appreciation to law enforcement officers across Canada for their relentless work to combat crime and protect communities.
Sure, that's what we're seeing. That's exactly what we're seeing.
Absolutely. Foreign Nation even had a message. I didn't bother with the video because
fuck him.
This National Police Week and every week, our government will always have the backs of the incredible women and men in uniform who will keep Ontario safe. I'm sure OPS probably has a couple of questions after the entire.
Well, not just OPS. Doug Ford here is saying this. We just reported about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that they need to do an audit of all of Ontario police forces because of all of the issues. So let's keep it real, Dougie.
Audit? Did you say audit?
Yeah. And now,
funny you should say that.
Yeah, there was an audit of Ottawa Police Service budget.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
Well, it is a concerning report on how projects are managed within the Ottawa Police Service. The city's Auditor General raising concerns about oversight, budgeting, and accountability when it comes to some of the service's biggest initiatives, some worth hundreds of millions of dollars. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us with more details on this report. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, the Ottawa Police Services Board approved a strategic plan last year, including 33 major projects and initiatives worth $322 million. But a new audit report finds that cost may not be accurate, with many projects going over budget and no central oversight.
Next spring, this new police facility is set to open in Barrhaven, but it's $10 million over budget, largely due to poor soil conditions. The city's Auditor General says major projects like this one lack proper management and oversight.
The oversight seems to be lacking, and as a taxpayer, I think we all have to be concerned about that.
Those questions about who's tracking these projects and how closely at the center of a new report presented virtually Tuesday to the Ottawa Police Services Board. The Auditor General finding some projects are moving forward without proper budgets and in some cases inaccurate information provided to oversight bodies.
Overall, the decentralized approach to project management increases the risk of inconsistent project management practices, incomplete project reporting, and reduced comparability between projects.
The report also finds some projects are under-resourced and project costs are not always consistently documented or reported. One example, the new district policing model, which started with a $600,000 budget. That number grew to $2.2 million, but the report shows spending to date is much higher, $5.2 million.
Not having a formally approved budget from the outset of the project, there is an increased risk of cost overruns and weakened accountability for project spending.
Police Chief Eric Stubbs agrees improvements are needed, saying the service took on many of these projects after years of staffing and financial pressures.
Everyone was so passionate that they could deliver on this. They thought it was important, and we went with it. And we knew that's a problem, and we knew that perfection would not occur, and there'd be a lot of hurdles. But the good news is that the bulk of the work is already done.
The service has accepted all 7 recommendations from the Auditor General, including everything from training to budgeting.
And the Ottawa Police Service says it plans to take a phased approach in implementing the recommendations, with the board expected to receive a future update on the progress. Patricia?
CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you.
The good news is, shut the fuck up, buddy. There's no good news in this. You guys overspent, and that's a tactic that they will use to say that they need a budget increase. Okay. That's a thing.
Absolutely.
Like, talk about mismanaging our taxpayer dollars.
And I mean, this is not sort of a recent incident here. Sam Hirsch from Horizon Ottawa, who Horizon Ottawa advocates in regards to a lot of local issues, in particular police and police budget. Every year we are told to accept massive Ottawa police budget, and massive. Our current budget right now is over 400 million a year to Ottawa police alone.
It went up 20% last year.
I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
It keeps going up a significant amount every year. Increases with very little scrutiny because they apparently don't ever have enough resources. What's shocking isn't that OPS doesn't have proper oversight. What's shocking is that they continue to get away with it.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely right. And this shows that they've been doing this quite a while, and they continue to do this. They will, because these projects, none of these projects are all just new this year. For you to start noticing epic problems within the projects, they have to have been running for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, again, millions and millions. When you have over $400 million going to this, and if half the projects, if not more, are in a state of just failure, where the projects are now doubling and tripling in the costs, this is the money that the police services keeps just dumping into it. This is your money.
And we have to keep cutting our services so that they can keep spending money on these projects that are out of, like, over budget. We don't get to go over budget on our services, on the stuff that we want, that people in Ottawa actually want. All these things are getting cut while all this money is getting thrown at the Ottawa Police Service, who isn't even managing. And you listen to Chief Stubbs being like, yeah, we knew it was a problem. We accepted all 32 projects knowing it was going to be a problem. But the good news is that we're almost done.
Yeah, no big deal.
Most of the work is done. Fuck off. As
No
he
big
makes,
deal.
what, $250,000 a year, through actually probably more, $300,000 a year.
Another mismanaged project.
The buck stops at you too, asshole.
Yeah.
What's the problem with the soil in Barrhaven? I'm thinking they probably built over something that soil that needed to be remediated. Either there was a gas station there or a landfill there or something. They have to treat, like, how they didn't do, like, before you start building anywhere, you have to do testing, and you have to know what you need to do to the soil. Like, there has to be a whole study done before you can start building. So I'm not sure. We should look into it a little bit more and find out what the fuck, but how they're just finding out, and all of a sudden they're over budget. They didn't know in advance.
I mean, I remember it reminds me a bit of a building out west in Barrhaven, but near Bayshore area. And there was a building there, and I remember there was a club when I was younger. I might have gone to a club or two. But the building itself was beside a gas station. And when they left the building, the gas tanks leaked. And the gas station had closed already, and nobody sort of addressed it. Yeah. The building started to sink into the ground, and the building has been condemned for the longest time. I don't know if they've ever done anything with it since, but it's been condemned.
The problem with the Barrhaven police station: unfavorable soft soil conditions. And this is on Prince of Wales Drive, 3505 Prince of Wales Drive. It added an extra 10 million in unexpected costs. Through the project, still expected to finish. Key soil-related challenges. Unforeseen conditions. Despite initial geotechnical testing, the full extent of the challenging soil was only realized once excavation began, forcing as reported bullshit. The contingency fund for the project had more than doubled. Timeline delay, safety assurances. The Ottawa Police Service confirmed that despite the issues, the foundation is being constructed. Yeah, because they had to required extending deep pile foundations to ensure a stable base. Good. It's saying that the project is still expected to finish under its total budgeted contingency in this CBC report. Yeah, we'll see about that.
But that's not the only project. If
No,
this
it's
is
not.
one
There was
project,
32 of them.
yeah,
There was
this
32
one
projects.
project could be something, but no, this is the issue is a large collection of all the projects, and it shows more of a pattern of a problem as opposed to just a one-off. One-off projects, one or two projects going off the rails, yeah, that makes sense. But this seems much more problematic. We're probably going to hear more about this as we're coming up in regards to during the discoveries in regards to this. But till then, we're going to move off to Ottawa again. Ottawa Police, no less. In regards to assault and harassment charges against OPS officer stem from alleged intimate partner violence. A police officer was also accused of carelessly storing his police issue pistol. Because, of course. So the charge sheet on this one is rather quick because there's not very much information. But what we have so far is CBC News has learned that recent criminal charges against a police officer relate
who shall not be named for some
who
reason.
shall not be named, relate to alleged intimate partner violence and involve a police-issued Glock pistol. Kingston Police announced the charges against the Ottawa Police Service officer in late April. Court records show he is charged with assault, criminal harassment, threatening conduct, or repeatedly following and or watching / besetting, careless storage of
a restricted Glock pistol issued to him by Ottawa Police, careless use of his police-issued Glock. The officer is not being named by CBC News in order to protect the identity of the alleged victim, who is a civilian member of the Ottawa Police Service. I'm not sure how naming him is going to tell the rest of the public who this person is, but this is a police officer, and I believe it's in the public's best interest to know which police officer has engaged in this type of behavior. And we're talking about a pistol, like an actual gun. Okay.
Yes.
My name was plastered all over everywhere for less charge than this. Okay. Or similar charges, but the Glock and all this other shit. Anyways, and public trust. This guy's a police officer. So anyway, there's that.
There is a little bit more here. Serious allegations. Ottawa Police Service wrote in a statement that it became aware of serious allegations on March 24th, then arrested the officer and charged him. Court records show he was arrested March 27th and was initially charged with assault and criminal harassment. Police then promptly referred the matter to Kingston Police for further investigation. The force wrote. The officer is suspended from duty with pay. The weapons charges were laid later on by Kingston Police after further investigation. So yeah, he's currently just suspended.
Yep.
Because
and he shall not be named.
He shall not be named. Now I'm a bit of a mixed bag on this one here. I totally get naming somebody as horrible as this. I also it could be a risk of the victim if they are closely tied. And I
don't know who this guy. I don't know what any police officer's relationship is with anybody. I'm not sure. I don't need to know who the victims are. I don't know the personal lives of the police officers that like to come to, people's whatever.
I get that, but again, when it comes to the victims,
either name everybody or don't name anybody. That's my point.
Fair. That's fair. That's not a terrible argument there. Just name nobody. But we do have a few things that are kind of good news in regards to police. In this case here, it is back to Ottawa. Ottawa police officer fired following assault conviction loses appeal. An Ottawa police officer convicted of assaulting a man nearly 5 years ago will have to resign or he'll be fired after losing the appeal of his dismissal. Constable Gordon Barrick was found guilty of assault and assault with a weapon on October 23rd in connection to an incident involving a man in an Ottawa community housing building in August of 2021. He received a suspended sentence with 30 months probation.
Guys, I wanted to read this. I'm going to read this. This guy got 30 months suspended sentence. In 2025, Barrick pleaded guilty to 3 counts of discreditable conduct and 2 counts of insubordination under the Code of Conduct for Police. A hearing officer ordered Barrick to resign from the force within 7 days or be fired. Barrick appealed the penalty, and a hearing was held on January 15th. In a decision released on Friday, May 8th, the Ontario Police Arbitration and Adjudication Commission panel dismissed the appeal, ruling the hearing officer's decision on penalty was reasonable. The ruling said Barrick's lawyers argued the hearing officer failed to appropriately consider the officer's prospect of rehabilitation. The hearing officer fairly considered the appellant's rehabilitative potential. We do not accept that there was a specific structured rehabilitative plan on the record, the ruling said. More generally, we find the hearing officer appropriately considered the appellant's rehabilitative potential within the context of the other considerations relating to penalty. The hearing officer properly set out the key considerations when imposing penalty: the seriousness of the misconduct, the ability to reform or rehabilitate the officer, and the impact to the reputation of the police service that will occur if the officer remains a member of the police service. True. The plan also ruled the hearing officer did not fail to apportion proper weight to mitigating the aggravating factors and did not err in considering relevant precedent. Barrick was found guilty of assaulting a man while responding to the call at an Ottawa community housing complex on Bronson Avenue on August 4th, 2021. Barrick struck the man with his closed baton and stepped on his neck for 2 minutes and 5 seconds to hold him down. In the 28-page decision by the hearing officer released on May 2025, retired Ontario Provincial Police Superintendent, MPB Elbers, ruled that in light of the seriousness of the allegations, Barrick will be fired from the Ottawa Police Service if he does not resign within 7 days. The conduct exhibited by this officer while on duty in Ottawa is deplorable and will cause damage to the reputation of the Ottawa Police Service, Superintendent Elbers said in the decision. So this guy smashes somebody with a closed baton and steps on his neck for 2 minutes and 5 seconds and is a police officer, which makes it that much more egregious. And that guy gets a suspended sentence of 30 months probation. And you know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
Durham will take him. Yeah, he'll just move to another city and become a cop there. 100%. You're right.
Yep. And I think it's important to start, and I think it's something that we should see that, or people should start noting. When police officers like this in Ottawa get, not just Ottawa, but, in Canada get fired and they move out to another police station, why are they being accepted? If they're being accepted, you know what? I'll give you that grace. If they're being accepted, why are you accepting someone who's been fired for doing egregious acts? Because now you now have a police force that can't be trusted when you have people who violated these rules. That trust to begin with.
And how did they hire this guy who thinks it's okay to step on somebody's neck for 2 minutes? Like,
there's a problem with the culture of police. We already discussed that in regards to Toronto and the racism.
Right. This is the Ottawa Police Service, but yeah. This will put me in jail for 9.5 months by the Ottawa Police Service.
Yeah.
Okay. but step on somebody's neck and you can go on 30 months probation. Amazing.
Paid, suspended, paid suspension.
Paid, yeah. It's a fucking vacation. The piece of shit got to stay home and get paid his $100,000 salary for however long. What, 2 years, 3 years? Because it took 5 years for this shit to happen. It was August 2021 when this incident happened. And by the way, picking on poor people, that's awesome too. That's great. Out of a community housing. Love that.
Yep. At least the next one is not in Ottawa, so we get a bit of respite here. But this one you're going to find interesting. This one has actually occurred today in regards to the events, and they developed and changed in real time. Ex-staff sergeant in Thunder Bay, Ontario, gets 3-year sentence for obstruction, breach of trust. Michael Demeny faced provincial police charges linked to entering apartment in 2020. And why aren't you responding to my keyboard?
Respond.
A former staff sergeant with Thunder Bay Police Services has been sentenced to 3 years in prison after being found guilty of breach of trust and obstruction of justice. Michael Demeny was charged by the Ontario Provincial Police in December 2023 with 2 counts of assault, breach of trust, and obstruction of justice, following a nearly 2-year investigation. Demeny, who has since resigned from the force, was found guilty of breach of trust and obstruction of justice in Thunder Bay's Ontario Court of Justice in February. One of the assault charges was dismissed, and he was acquitted of the other one. On Wednesday morning, Justice Michael Block handed him a 3-year prison term on the breach of trust charge and 2 years concurrent on the obstruction charge. He has not been required to submit a DNA sample. Interesting.
Isn't it? Isn't it, you guys? Did you guys know that I had to submit a DNA sample? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Demeny's trial focused heavily on whether he had reasonable grounds to enter an apartment in Frederica Street in November 2020, where police were making arrests. He showed up unannounced at the scene while 4 other officers were outside to retrieve a stolen TV and tools that belonged to his then father-in-law. He entered the building without a warrant, the court heard. The court also heard Demeny went into the TBPS computer system and changed another police officer's report about what happened. Oh, yeah. There was no legitimate public purpose contemplated here. The motive was personal, Block said. Now, is that the last one? Because the next one... So
he's been sentenced to 3 years.
Yeah. He's been sentenced to 3 years.
And 2 years concurrent, which is still 3 years. So this is funny.
This gets more interesting. Now, his former chief is also awaiting trial.
Nice.
Demeny's sentence comes at a time when TBPS is already facing significant scrutiny. Former police chief Sylvie Hoth is making her way through the courts after being charged in April 2024 with obstruction of a public officer or peace officer, breach of trust by a public officer, and 2 counts of obstruction of justice. Don't have much details on that, but that's enough to get a taste on that one.
Yay.
But our friend...
Police Week, everyone! Woo!
Yeah, but our friend who got sentenced for 3 years, was taken into custody and within an hour was granted bail pending his appeal. Immediately. So the former Thunder Bay police officer was granted bail just hours after being taken into custody.
So he's found guilty, but he gets out on bail. I love that.
Immediately.
Love that.
Michael Demeny has been granted bail pending an appeal of his conviction and sentenced for the breach of trust and obstruction of justice. The former Thunder Bay Police Service Sergeant was sentenced to 3 years in prison Wednesday morning and was immediately taken into custody at the Thunder Bay Courthouse. Defense lawyer Michelle Doherty said Demeny will appeal both the conviction, eviction, and sentence, and on Wednesday afternoon, after just 3.5 hours in custody, was granted bail by the Provincial Court of Appeal. The sentence handed down by Justice Michael Block is double the 15 to 18 months custodial sentence the Crown had asked for during Tuesday's sentencing. Defense
Oh,
could also ask for 15 to 18 months, but as a conditional sentence to be served in the community. Dimini was convicted of illegally entering. We already read that part.
yeah, whatever. Well,
Yeah.
the judge doesn't have to go with what the Crown wants. And maybe the judge found this to be extremely egregious, given that this is a cop, and the cop just tried to fuck with somebody's life by changing a police report that another cop had written about whatever. And that could
And
fuck
definitely try to
over the
cover his
other
ass.
cop on
Yeah.
top of that.
Absolutely.
And to do that is stupid because the cop has their own independent memory. And if they are to go on the stand and talk about their own independent memory, and that doesn't match their police report, well, then they're going to be called into question, which is going to get that guy off anyways. So what a stupid move.
They're
Okay.
going to be referring to their notes, as we've seen.
They go,
And-
they do all of it, their report, their notes, and their investigative action.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, the cop on the stand will be referring from memory and from their notes. And if this guy is changing the report, it's not going to match the guy's, the original officer's memory and notes.
Not
And
helpful,
that's gonna
idiot.
immediately destroy it on the stand.
Right.
Maybe.
That
yeah.
was a dick move, buddy.
So we get flagged for inappropriate content. See,
It's
they
my
can work,
finger
see my work
warmer.
conditions.
It's my finger warmer.
It's my finger warmer. Yeah. Apparently, those also make great cell phone holders.
These?
Yeah, I know one person who will actually use it as a cell phone holder.
But it's made out of it's crocheted. No, it doesn't. My cell phone's too heavy.
Maybe you need a bigger one.
This is Mimi, by the way, you guys. This is Mimi.
Fair enough. And now we bring up to the main story, which is the Al cuts. Now, I got the first video here, which will give you an overview as to what's going on.
Premier Doug Ford is facing a lawsuit from the Al-Quds Committee, which claims Ford made defamatory statements in the lead-up to this year's event. The day before the Al-Quds Day rally on March 14th, Premier Ford took to social media to say he had instructed the Attorney General to file an injunction to prevent the annual pro-Palestinian march from taking place, calling it, quote, a breeding ground for hate and anti-Semitism, and that it glorified violence. A court dismissed his request for an injunction less than an hour before the rally began. The judge in the case citing no evidence that participants in last year's rally incited hate or engaged in hate speech. Premier Ford's office has issued a statement in response to the lawsuit saying he stands by his previous remarks about the event and will not remove the social media posts or retract comments. Al-Quds Day is an annual event held on the last Friday of Ramadan, established in 1979 by Iran Ayatollah. The day is intended to express solidarity with Palestinians and opposition to Israel's control of Jerusalem.
Now, I do have the video from that we played on March 18th. That was Doug Ford's statement that is right now being called in question to the court, and we'll play it here.
Well, good afternoon. Over the last few weeks, I've been disgusted and appalled by the open hatred and violence taking place in our country. We've seen synagogues and consulates shot at. We've seen entire communities targeted and intimidated. And just yesterday, right across the border, we've seen a hatred few of us can even imagine and understand. When a gunman attacked innocent Jewish worshipers inside a Michigan synagogue, we need to speak honestly and openly about the hatred that runs more rampant on our streets with each passing day. We need to speak hard truths some of us may not want to hear or acknowledge. I don't recognize our country, the Canada we know and love, a Canada that embraces differences, a Canada that celebrates diversity. That Canada is slipping away. If we don't stand up against the open hatred we see in our country today, more violence and hate will follow against every race, every religion, and every community, with deadly consequences. That brings me to tomorrow's Al-Quds Day demonstration in Toronto. This demonstration is nothing more than a breeding ground for hate and anti-Semitism. It glorifies violence. It celebrates terrorism. It has no place in Ontario. It has no place in Canada. That's why today I've instructed my Attorney General, Doug Downey, to pursue an injunction that would stop this hateful demonstration. If we don't act now, if we don't act decisively, the hatred won't stop. Our government has a responsibility to do everything we can to protect our communities and put an end to the hate that we see in our province and country. This injunction is worth doing on its own merits. We need to stand up for what's right,
How'd that go
for what's
you?
just. And no matter what, I fully expect that the police will do their jobs and immediately intervene at the first sign of hate, violence, or glorification of terrorist organizations. We're so fortunate to live in the greatest country on earth. For too long, we've taken for granted the kind of rights that people are fighting and dying for this very minute. I believe deeply in our fundamental freedom of speech, but nobody in this province has the right to incite violence, and no one has a free license to hate. We won't stand for it. Instead of focusing on what divides us, let's come together and focus on what unites us. Let's work together to keep building the greatest province, the greatest country on earth. Let's stand up to hate, however and wherever we can. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario.
He's so shitty at that. Me. I can't hear you. You're gone.
I know, because I muted myself like an idiot and forgot to unmute. Yeah, well, the teleprompter really helps him because, we can see right there.
It's terrible.
What to say. And, if I had a teleprompter like that, I would do so much good work.
Yes. Anyway, he's just a racist piece of shit. So Alberta's committee has officially served Doug Ford for those defamatory statements that he has made against the committee, against the protesters, against the rally itself. And $27,500 lawsuit, statement of claim. I had a chance to speak with Stephen Ellis, who is a lawyer who is heading this lawsuit against Doug Ford. Stephen Ellis is part of the Legal Center for Palestine, which is a referral agent, or a referral site, so that if you are, and I'll let the interview actually speak for itself. Everything is in the interview. Had a chance, this was very last minute because they just served him yesterday. Breaking news came out yesterday. Doug Ford's statement came out today. So I was able, as Stephen Ellis was gracious enough to take my questions when I reached out to him today. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Just a couple of questions about the defamation lawsuit against Doug Ford by the Alberta Committee. You are the lawyer that is responsible for it.
Right.
You're trying to fundraise $15,000.
Right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this for?
Yeah, this is about raising money for, to carry the suit right from the beginning to end. And
$15,000 for the entire lawsuit.
That's correct.
How much do these lawsuits usually cost?
Well, 15,000 is a pretty good deal.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And we're going to be using the resources of a lot of different lawyers and paralegals and volunteers and others to make it happen. So yeah, so it's a bit of a conservative figure, but we thought we'd cap it at 15 and use the occasion of the fundraiser to also spread the message about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
You guys are doing an amazing job. Why are you doing it?
Well, this is just about accountability. For years, the Premier has been slandering the Al-Quds rally people, their participants, the organizers, saying the most horrific things about them and us, and he's been engaged in a campaign of anti-Palestinian racism that's been going on for years. And so we decided that, okay, it's time to call the question and have him answer to the horrible things he's been saying about us.
What were some of the examples that you're using in your statement of claim of what he has said about the Al-Quds Committee, the protest itself?
Right. Well, he's been, for years he's been howling that it's a display of hate and glorifying violence and terrorism, and he
sounds like he's never been to any of those rallies.
Yeah, no, not likely. And I mean the occasion, of course, is to standing in solidarity with the people who are struggling to be free, the Palestinian people. So where the irony is, screaming. So it's pretty clear that he's using his office to try to undermine our democratic rights by smearing the movement, which the Israel lobby has been doing successfully for many, many years. And so, I mean, if he's going to say these things, what this suit will allow us to do is to challenge him on the veracity of what he's saying. He's just sort of a wind-up toy, that you can expect to hurl insults at Palestinians and their allies, and it's time to
hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable.
What's the goal? Like, is there a financial goal? Is there a policy change goal? Is there?
Well, I think it's about putting the questions directly to him at trial. That's the objective. That is, okay, if you're saying this is about glorifying terrorism, this is about inciting hatred, put up or shut up. That's what this is about, right? And this is about the community taking part in this and watching him explain himself, because he feels free to say these things without a follow-up question being asked, like, well, what do you mean, or what's your example, or anything. Yeah. So it's about accountability.
Like how he's going about it, it's actually quite disgusting, and he's doubling down now that the Al-Quds Committee has served him. So he put out a statement today.
Yeah, he did, and they're just saying no, we're not going to take it down.
I'm not taking it down.
Yeah. And so that's that's kind of to be expected. He's not someone who's terribly thoughtful or reflective of what he does.
No.
So that's fine. We've asked him to retract those statements for months now, and so again, this is not about money. This is about accountability. This is about
if money
answering.
is agreed. If money is but money is part of the claim, right?
Yeah.
And so if the Al-Quds Committee is successful and is awarded financial compensation,
right,
where does that money usually go?
Yeah. So what would happen is the claim is for $27,500, which is a little over half of what you can sue for in small claims court.
Yep.
The great thing about small claims is that it's fast moving and you can get to trial quickly.
Right.
Any money
depends
that
the lawyer.
we recoup through this process will go towards continued education around the issue of Palestine and in building the yearly activities that the Al-Quds Committee put out there.
Amazing. And Legal Center for Palestine is, tell us a little bit more about Legal Center for Palestine.
Well, Yeah, the Legal Center for Palestine has been out there for a number of years now, taking on all kinds of cases that relate to anti-Palestinian racism in schools, universities, on the street, in the workplace, everywhere. So, in the event anyone is affected by the state's violence against activists or the lobby's use of the smear tactic against activists or students or what have you, then the first place to go is to the Legal Center for Palestine, which is lcpal.ca, and you go there and you fill out the form and you let us know what's going on.
And then Legal Center for Palestine matches you up with a lawyer who is.
That's exactly right. We have a referral system that people can access, and that's what we've aimed to be for the movement. You know, to be a legal defense for the assaults, which are coming and which will probably accelerate over the next number of years.
That was the topic of the last webinar Legal Center for Palestine had. I got to be part of that, or listen to it anyways.
Right.
And you have another one coming up at the end of this month?
That's right. Yeah, there's one, I think it's on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken, May the 25th, and it's about, it's about activism across the country and supporting activism through the legal tools at our disposal right across the country. So, who the speakers are, it's a mystery to me, but they'll be there for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll be posting a little bit of information on that, and hopefully people will.
Sure.
Anybody, you don't have to have a legal background. This is important for all of us to know and to understand, because the Zionist lobby openly states and brags about using lawfare against its critics, and so they have a very how should I put it? They have a lot of money to put behind deep pockets.
Very deep pockets. Yeah.
Correct. And so when we hear like an
institutional
organization,
power.
Exactly. So when an organization like yours, or the one that you're part of, Legal Center for Palestine, is looking for donations so that we can keep up, the Palestinian movement can keep up, and also holds people accountable. So you guys are actively getting donations, not just for this particular lawsuit, but also for other initiatives.
We need, even if you've got a few bucks, it's really helps us to keep the lights on, so to speak, and to make everything happen. The money's really important. So if you've got even a little bit, it goes a long way.
Yeah, and this is from a grassroots movement, so you can pitch in $5, and that goes. That adds up even more if you can do more.
That's right.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I appreciate. Anything else you want to add?
No, just thanks for having me on, and don't be intimidated out there.
No, never. Not this girl anyway.
Don't let them grind you down.
Amazing.
All right.
Okay. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Can't hear you.
So there we go. Our first interview.
Yeah, it was my first time.
Yeah. There you go. How was that?
I'll do better next time. But he did great.
He did. He's phenomenal. I mean, so this is, great to hear in regards to, as we all heard the statements from Doug Ford. He was quite egregious in regards to the statement saying, this is bringing ground for hate. And I think his lawsuit that they're doing is going to definitely have a chance because,
he has to answer.
To back it up.
He's got to back up his statements.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little added bonus for me at the fact. So, Doug Ford says, I'm going to ask the Attorney General, which we talked about already. Government and the Attorney General are supposed to be separate. The justice system and the government are supposed to be separate. So right there, that was disgusting. And the Attorney General did it. Doug Ford trying to say that it's going to go on its merits. There were no merits to that injunction. application. And they reached so far, you guys, that they accused the Al-Quds committee of, or me or whatever, of me being part of the Al-Quds committee because I was relaying news from the Al-Quds committee, on
social media.
On social media, saying that this is a message from the Al-Quds committee because they were making these claims that they were going to file an injunction. And then they actually used my tweets, and not only used my tweets, but like twisted, obviously, because that's what they do. Words have a complete different meaning to Zionists than the reality, or the reality isn't their reality, or they try to make it not our reality. I don't know how to put it because they're just so twisted. But they actually tried to use my tweets and me being part of the Al-Quds committee to cancel Al-Quds Day. So the lies and the deceit and the ugliness of these fucking Zionists who have a grip on our institutions and our governments need to be held accountable. And anybody who parrots their bullshit needs to be held accountable. And that's why I love the fact that Legal Center for Palestine and their lawyers are taking these people to task. The Al-Quds committee has, taken them to task. There is a man had a Palestinian man who had been fired. Legal Center for Palestine lawyer Faisal Baba is representing him. So I highly encourage everybody to go on LCPAL, which is Legal Center Pal, lcpal.ca. And you can help support any of their initiatives that they have now. Fruit fly. You can donate. They're trying to raise $15,000. I think they're at $6,000 right now for this case against Doug Ford. And it's on my social media. I'm about to post this interview. I put actual pictures and stuff. I'll be posting that interview later, or Joe can do something with what I just did, send it back to me, whatever. But we will be posting this separate interview, and I hope you guys can share it far and wide. And follow Legal Center for Palestine on Twitter, if you're on X. If you're on X, LCPal. Had to LCPal.
I'll call it Twitter.
I know, me too. But anyways, that was great.
That's fantastic. Absolutely, we'll get their interview released. More than likely, we'll try to release it on YouTube with a link made available on all the different platforms for you guys to see it. We might be able to put it straight onto Facebook, but obviously Twitter might be a problem. But it will be there, and we'll need to also, we'll talk to Deana, and we'll have that out there for you guys as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. That pretty much wraps us up now. So thanks for to Stephen Ellis again for the wonderful interview and information for us.
And thanks for everybody for being patient. We're on time. We did it in an hour and a half. However, we started 40 minutes late, so sorry.
It was, like I said, a very, very busy day for all of us. Yeah. A lot of it was also a lot of the police. The interview also kind of pushed the timelines too, but it was also the just a lot of police stuff. I kept including the last minute change.
Because it's police week.
It's police week. Yay.
It's hump day on police week in police week.
Yeah, we should all get fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all feeling it now. Not in a good way. All right, so good night. And of course, as usual, one last video.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
This spring, meet Carl and Matt.
Two guys with no jobs.
But a lot of cardboard. They've mastered the art of protesting without a plan.
Did I spell freedom wrong again?
Oui, but it's more artistic. Convoy